Braveheart Team is, you probably heard this from others, but we're pretty deep in actual practical operating experience. We have a mixture of geologists, engineers, financial people, and other directors that have experience in M&A. So I think we're well equipped for moving forward with not only advancement of the Bull River project, but also with other opportunities that we see. We're very pleased to be working in British Columbia. We're pro-mining for Canada and also for BC, and we plan to bring our key project forward. This is the stock summary. So currently we have about 112 million shares outstanding, trading around 13 cents. We got a market cap of about 14.5 million. We have a bit of debt in terms of a debenture and also internal loan. We're listed again, as I mentioned before, I think on the TSX. This is from the TSX. This is the Braveheart share performance over the last year. Back on almost to the day, January of 20 of last year, Braveheart acquired out of CCAA a property called the Bull River Mine. At that time, we were trading around 10 cents, 4 million market cap company. As people understood the value of the asset we purchased, we were able to move forward, and we spent most of the year sitting at about a 15-cent share price, and then we got hurt a little bit before Christmas. Companies, in terms of our general plan right now, suffice to say we're a development stage company. We've acquired a past producing asset, so we're based in East and West Kootenays of British Columbia, as I mentioned, close to Cranbrook. Our primary asset is 100% owned. What's unique about it, in my experience, is you got a fully developed underground mine with surface infrastructure. And from my perspective, you've got to have a decent ore body, but after that, you got to figure out where it is relative to the infrastructure. That includes people, towns, grid power, roads. So this is a really unique situation for us. We also have an option on a gold property in Nelson, but our primary focus is on bringing the Bull River project into production. It's our belief that if there's 5 properties that actually go into production in BC in the next 2 years, we'll be one of them. Little hard to read, but we're effectively about 35 kilometers from Cranbrook, British Columbia on the west. And if you like skiing, we're near about 65 kilometers from Fernie. So again, what we were attracted to this property is that it's an underground property. We have about 1.5 million tons at about 2.2% copper. That's in the indicated category, and we also have a small inferred resource. We have a fully developed mill. We have to add some flotation right now, but the mill is designed at 700 ton a day and was run at that level. It has significant previous development, over 22 kilometers of tunnels. So previous operators had actually explored this deposit on 7 different lateral horizons, all in the ore. So today, if we were to go back mining, we could really extract ore at multiple levels. We're only 350 meters deep, so that's relatively shallow for an underground mine. It does have past production under Placid Oils, so there's good correlation between past performance in terms of grade and recovery and salability of concentrates. One other unique feature we have is a large surface stockpile, about 165,000 tons, that is not low grade, it's run-of-mine ore, which will provide the initial 8 months feed to the mill once we get up and going. And uniquely, we only have to spend about $5 million to complete the surface upgrades. We bought this project. It previously had between 200 and 300 million invested in it by previous owners, so we have relatively small capital to finish it off. And we also inherited $152 million with tax pools, so Braveheart will not pay tax for the better part of 10 years once we get up and running. Other attributes, again, for me comes back to the infrastructure theme. We do plan, the main hurdle for us to get back into production is getting a permit to place tailings on surface. and we've elected to use dry stack as our tailings deposition strategy. It's considered one of the best available technologies in British Columbia, and for a smaller mine with grade, we can afford to do it. We do have a current 43-101 report, and so again, we like a number of the key aspects of the project. Over the last year, we've tried primarily to move the permit process along. That is onerous in BC, but I'm of the view when we market that it's not a matter at Bull River whether we'll get if we'll get a permit, but when we'll get a permit. And so we are in discussion with the Kootenays First Nation. They have favorable working relationships with Teck, who are our next door neighbors. So we think that bodes pretty well. And we've gone through a couple of different iterations with our mine permit. It's a brownfields operation, and there are no showstoppers that we're aware of right now. One of the biggest challenges for us, again, we've got to raise the $5 million to complete the surface upgrades. That includes a new transformer, which is just acquired. It includes flotation, and we need some filtration for our mill. The other thing we're trying to do is to improve or expand upon our liquidity. We trade by appointment, and we'd like to have higher daily trading. We are listed now in the OTCQB. We want to get some exposure to the States as well. So going forward, really, we've made good progress in the last 2 quarters. So our fiscal is May 31st of the end of the year. We're again working towards our major mines permit. We have been successful in raising capital. We raised about $700,000 for flow through this summer, where we explored our current property, and we've just recently raised another $730,000. This mine was never in commercial production as an underground mine, so some of the money that we've just raised in December is going to go towards exploration from the underground. We're looking to follow up on some hits such as 4% over 6.6 meters. So we like the higher grade copper, and we think there's a very strong probability of trying to expand this to depth. Again, these are similar activities. It's really the two, not showstoppers, but we have to complete a detailed design on the dry stack, and we are concurrently going to be trying to move forward with our capital enhancement. Very briefly, this is the surface assets, so they've been well maintained since 1970. So that shows in the background, that's the crushing plant in the mill, and in the foreground, that's the office facilities. There was 2 original pits that were mined by Placid Oil between 71 and 74. One has been reclaimed, the other we're using for water storage. In the underground, 22 kilometers of tunnels, so that tunnels leads. I really wanted to just show you that we have access to attack the ore body on multiple levels. So as a miner, we can mine from the bottom up if we want, or the top down, but we have that flexibility. This is again just conceptual long section, but it's a relatively, at this point, shallow deposit at 350 meters. And our targets in February are going to really be looking for some more down dip and on strike extensions. This is the same picture of the mill, beautiful country. This is our ball mill, so it's again in good shape. The whole front end of the mill is in good shape. A dated truck, but it's coming out of our portal, so that just shows we actually have a portal. I want to prove that. This was the base of the original waste that came out from the underground mine, and we have 165,000 tons on top of that pile now. This is the structures are steep. They typically are 3 to 7 meters wide. This particular face is about probably 10 meters wide, primarily chalcopyrite, some quartz there as well. Thank you very much.